Hi everyone, it is April. Today, I wanted to have a bit of a heart-to-heart with you about mental health and stuff that I have been going through. As you know, on my channel, I've been so vocal and open about my infertility journey, the miscarriage that I experienced, and all of that. But I feel like I've left you slightly in the dark about how I felt since Nora has been born. We were very lucky after doing IVF that Nora came along. So I kind of thought that I could talk to you about how I've been feeling since Nora has come along, and also chat with you about some self-help books that I have either read and loved and has helped me or want to read. Um, but I will say, since Nora has come along, I mean, my heart has been absolutely healed in so many ways. But one thing that is really strange to experience after going through infertility, going through miscarriage, desperately wanting a child, having a child, is what can happen after that. So I ended up having postpartum depression. I couldn't sleep, as you can imagine, having a newborn. Still don't sleep much, but I had a really hard time with that. And I did go on antidepressants for that, and that helped a lot. I still struggled, but I felt like I was out of the fog. That said, in recent months, I have realized and discovered that I have PMDD, which is kind of an extreme form of PMS. It's something where everyone is different with how they feel it. For myself, I just had extreme rage and I had very little patience, like very little. And when you have a toddler, it's kind of handy to have some patience. And I didn't know what was going on, but I did notice that it was odd that while I was ovulating, I don't know, it's kind of odd when you've gone through infertility, you still kind of internally track like what's going on with your cycle. I noticed that when I was ovulating, which is when I should be feeling like super cute and really wanting to get cozy with Barry, I did not want anything to do with him. In fact, I was really angry a lot of the time. And I was like, something is just wrong. Something is just wrong. And I ended up talking to my sister, who was so helpful to me. She also suffers from PMDD. And I talked to my doctor, and I am now on the pill for PMDD, and it has helped immensely. But it's something that I struggled with for months and months and months on end, without talking to anyone about it. That's why I'm really happy to say that this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Talking to someone is so much better than just holding it in and feeling like something is wrong with you. I don't know why I didn't speak to someone before. I wish I had spoken to my sister before I did, and she said, like, I had no idea that you were going through all of this. I think for myself, I just got to a point where I thought, I guess this is just life. This is just how I am as a mother with a toddler. Maybe I'm just someone who struggles with her patience and her anger with a toddler. And I'm so glad that I did finally say something and did finally reach out for help. So when BetterHelp reached out to me, I was actually very excited because I'm also going to be using them and working with a therapist on this PMDD and on the anger that I can have. My anger levels have gone down so much. Oh my goodness. It really has been like night and day for me, but I'm still human, and I do react with anger. You know how there's those like flight or fight people? I'm a fight person. I don't know if it comes across on camera. Maybe it does. But I think that can surprise some people, but I'm definitely a fight person. You can ask Barry. And I myself really want to sort out tools and work on how I can better myself and how I can, assess within my day when I'm feeling overwhelmed and kind of stop myself from getting so overwhelmed that I can't help but get frustrated. I'm really excited to chat with a therapist online. You can, I think, do all sorts of things. You can chat with them online. You can have something where they text with you. You can have a call with them. My first therapy session with them is on Tuesday of next week. I'm really looking forward to it because I just think I enjoy therapy, I enjoy chatting, and I get a lot out of therapy. So I did want to reach out to you guys if you are someone who's going through anything at the moment that maybe you have been kind of downplaying, like I did at least. Or maybe you understand that you have an issue that you want to work through. You can get matched with a therapist that is going to sit with you and work through things with you. And one thing I like about BetterHelp is that you can actually select gender, you can select race, you can select what they specialize in, and it's very lovely in that way. I'll put on the screen the link that you can use. It's also in the description box below, where you can get 10% off your first month, and you can really pick whatever therapist is good for you. If you start therapy sessions with someone and it's just not fitting, you can switch to someone else, which is so good. It's like meeting the right person and going on dates with someone. Sometimes you have to make sure that it's the right fit for you. So anyway, I did want to share that with you, and I wanted to open up about how I've been doing because I have been kind of struggling. I'm so in love with my child. I love her like to the ends of the earth. And it's funny because, well, you guys know that in December, we went ahead and transferred the other embryo that we had in the freezer, and that transfer for IVF did not work. It didn't work. And I don't think I would have, prior to that, been open to being on the pill because obviously I wanted to have another child. That said, after we discovered that it hadn't worked, I wish that I had spoken to my sister earlier. I wish that I had spoken to a therapist earlier, and I wish I'd gone on the pill earlier. So yeah, I wanted to share with you how I've been doing. I don't think I've been very vocal about postpartum depression and PMDD. I know I haven't spoken to anyone about because I had no idea I had it for the longest time. And then I started looking into it and I was like, wow, I have so many of these symptoms. And I was suffering for such a long time with something that I could, combat with opening up about it and also going on the medication that would help. So that said, I thought we could segue into some books that I personally have loved reading in the past, that has helped me in the past, and has also helped me in this period of my life, and then books that I want to read that I think are also going to help me in this period of my life. The first book I want to share with you is 24/6, The Power of Unplugging One Day a Week. So I read this earlier this year and it really, really hit home. This is about the idea of literally stepping away from social media, stepping away from emails, all of the above, all of the tech stuff for just one day in a week. And I started doing this. I'm not perfect at it, but as I did that, I found that I was so much more in the present moment with Nora. I lost my temper a lot less because I was just present with her. I was just there with her. And I think sometimes I can use social media. I'll just go on TikTok or what have you to have like little me moments, but they're not quality moments. They really aren't. And so when I read this book, there were a lot of aha moments for me, and implementing it in my life really, really did help as well. Another book that I want to read and have not read yet is one and only, the freedom of having an only child and the joy of being one. I have had a lot of guilt of not being able to have another child, a sibling for Nora. I have a lot of fear surrounding it. I think because I am so close to my sister and we share so much history and so many inside jokes. Our childhood is so linked together. No one else understands it the way that we do. And I'm worried that Nora's not going to have someone like that in her life. And anyway, I have opened up to you guys about this in the past, and you have been so supportive of me. And I want to thank you so much to all of the people who were either only children and talked about how much they loved growing up as an only child, or the parents out there who also have only children. You guys have made me feel a million times better. I do want to read this book to like just sit with this concept for a while. I don't know why I haven't read it yet, but I really want to read this and I think it's going to help a lot. Another book that I think is going to help me a lot is How to Fail: Everything I've Learned from Things Going Wrong by Elizabeth Day. She has a whole podcast about this concept. I think I should read it maybe after, or listen to that, I should say, after I've read this. I can definitely be someone that if I fail at something, I have extreme shame surrounding it and also anger. Something to work through. And this really explores Elizabeth Day's experience with failure and how it's actually a really good thing. And I think I could use that messaging going into my brain, that it's okay that the embryo transfer didn't work. It's okay that my body has PMDD. It's okay that things aren't running smoothly. And maybe in accepting things a little bit more, maybe looking on the bright side, I'll be able to deal with things differently. So I would really like to read this. It's also meant to be really funny, so I could use something like this. A book that I go to again and again through my life is The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are. So Brené Brown studies shame and vulnerability, and for this book she met with many people who show who are vulnerable but look at it as a positive thing. And there are all sorts of things in here: cultivating authenticity, cultivating creativity, things that they do in their lives that make them better, make them resilient. And I love reading this book when I'm in a place where my self-confidence is low. It can really help me. It has helped me. I've picked it up again and again through my life. And if you haven't read this one, I know she's written a lot of books. This one is so far the best that I've read thus far. I do have a couple more that I haven't read by her, but I love her. So another book, and this is the last book that I haven't read. I started reading this and then stopped reading it. This is Burnout: The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle. Earlier this year, it might have been last year actually, I experienced burnout where I was just doing too many things. I had Patreon, which I do miss. I had a YouTube channel. I had a full-time job. I had a toddler. And I was just trying to do absolutely everything. And I think what I wasn't understanding within myself is understanding that different people have different limits and abilities. You know what I mean? Like some people are able to be on every parent council, and they're able to have a full-time job and take care of their friends and be an amazing mother and all of these things, and they're able to withstand a lot of stress. And I have a low stress threshold, maybe. In any case, I'm going to start it all over again, I think. I think it's going to really help me understand and recognize when I'm reaching that overwhelm in my life, not just like from a day-to-day perspective, but like I am taking on too much. I need to stop. I need to let go of something. Upon reading even some of this book, I decided to stop Patreon for a period of time. I don't know if I'll ever do Patreon again, but it really did help me recognize, okay, I can't keep going at this rate. I'm gonna burn out even more than I am, you know? So I'd like to pick this up again, especially in light of knowing that I have PMDD. Just think that's important for me. So yeah, I really want to pick this up pretty soon as well. And then the last book I wanted to share with you, I don't know if people would consider it like a self-help book, but it's the little book of Hygge, The Danish Way to Live Well. Now I mean, it's in my channel name. I have always been someone who loves coziness. My mom taught that to me when I was very young. I remember, you know, coming in the door after school and there would be relaxing music in the background, Lorena McKennitt, like some sort of classical music. There was candles going. It was cozy. And my mom was someone who always taught me that. And I think it's really helpful for self-help. It doesn't necessarily need to be a bubble bath to be self-help. But having a restorative life and restorative lifestyle and restorative home allows you to fill your own cup again. And that is something that, as someone with a toddler, I really need in my life. And I need to implement it even more around Nora, as well as after she goes to bed. I need to start implementing that a little bit earlier. That said, I just think that this is something that everyone could use. Everyone could learn the art of coziness. So I would highly recommend that. So those are the books I wanted to share with you. I also wanted to thank you all for being so emotionally there for me. You've been with me through so much in my life. And, you know, I know some people are a bit hesitant to open themselves up on the internet for very good reasons. There are some people on the internet who do not have good intentions and are going to leave really nasty comments. But I feel like I just have a really wonderful little community here, and I was ready to open up about the postpartum depression, about the PMDD, because one thing that I really gained from opening up about my miscarriage, which was so raw when I opened up about that, like it had just happened, was I was welcomed into this little community of people who'd experienced a similar thing and were holding me up. And then I, in turn, was able to hold up other people, people in my life who have had miscarriage and might not be as vocal about it, but I just so have appreciated you all for doing that for me, for being there for me. And I'm probably not the only person on here who's dealt with postpartum depression or PMDD. Although I don't know how many people have PMDD, but yeah, if you feel like opening up in the comments below, please do. You are always welcome. I will always, you know, take a look at the comments. If anyone's being mean, I will delete those people. I really want this to be a safe place for all of us. And let me know if you end up going for therapy with BetterHelp. I'm really looking forward to my first session. Fingers crossed it's a good match and I can start working through some of this stuff that's been going on in my life. Anyway, I hope you are well, and I will talk with you very soon. Bye.